wallet you last logged into, and if you have a password manager set up, you can just log in. Our feedback now includes logs, logs, and also it checks if you're on a sensitive screen. So you don't need to worry about sending us a screenshot of your private keys. And also we can check the logs if you log a bug report or feedback. Yeah, so we're moving to, for those that opt in, we're moving to an open source analytics pipeline that just will help us to see where we need to better allocate our infrastructure resources, appropriate electrons, etc. Yeah, then obviously then Pirate and some custom token import issues that are fixed. Then also issue that was reported in one of the Friday evening Discord sessions, the where you couldn't get the exact amount matching for the swaps. That's fixed. And yeah, and then a whole load of other minor or a lot of fixes and performance improvements that add up to a lot. So, yeah, if you're curious, I dropped a link in the chat. Yeah, then after this, then the focus is already shifted on to an overhauled and improved login flow, login slash import, and then also then also simultaneously to Wallet Connect. So those are the two items that we're busy working on. Yeah, Wallet Connect, and then a much needed overall of the login and authentication experience. And yeah, that's thanks for coming to my TED talk. That's everything I had to mention, at least now.
Thank you. And one question regarding the next release, the 9.3 release. You know the approximately 1 week out.
I feel like for the past like 3 or 4 weeks, I've been asked the same question. It's always been like Monday, but no, for real though. No further code changes are needed, and we've found all the issues that then open Pandora's box with further issues. So we're expecting this week. Our security head of security Decker is in the call tonight. Thanks for joining, Decker. He's busy wrapping up with security reviews of external dependencies, and then we're ready to roll. So yeah, then we're looking at middle of next week to late next week, and this time for real. There's no further code changes needed.
Pretty awesome. Yeah, it's gonna be a big one, guys. So we'll end up putting that on the website. I know with the current release, the 9.2, it's just been on the GitHub, but we were waiting to get some of these big fixes and improvements their way before we put the version on.
Also, yeah, sorry to interrupt, but yeah, also a big blocker that we've been dealing with, a bit of a headache that CA is finally just broken through. We've gotten the Windows signing certificate and the Apple account all sorted, and now we're just waiting. We're finalizing the Google Play account. So at the absolute very least, this release will be web, desktop, Linux, iOS. Yeah, but stay tuned for that. But yeah, this is going to be then the first full cross-platform release.
Awesome. Yes. So I know everyone here has been waiting A lot of them have been waiting for the desktop, but also there's been a lot of people waiting for mobile. So it's great news that we finally have everything sorted with these certificates. They've been a pain in the butt, but now that we got them, uh, you know, future issues, with it obviously won't come up. So we'll be able to get out new releases timely.
Yeah, just yeah, to expand on that. Then for future releases from now on, after this initial release, they'll all go out. Um, yeah, they'll all go out soon after each other. It's just this first time round getting everything lined up, and it's just a lot of bureaucracy and registering accounts and whatnot. But the rest, yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah, awesome. Can you speak a little bit on what we hope to see in the future here in the next, say, month or so, in terms of we
Yeah,
plan
so
on.
so pretty much the main focus for GUI is yeah, we've had a look at our sign up and wallet import flow, uh everything from how the seed phrase is imported, or how the seed phrase is backed up, to also then logging in. Users want to have a simple PIN, and also users want to be able to use biometrics. Yeah, so pretty much if you have a look at what you typically expect from other wallet apps, that's what we're matching. So yeah, I don't want to spoil too much, but yeah, so I wouldn't say in the next, yeah, so by the end of next month, we're hoping, or we're planning on having Wallet Connect, and also then the overall login and auth flow. You may have more information about what Wallet Connect, enables in the greater scheme of things, but yeah, um, from my point of view, yeah, just getting Wallet Connect working. Yeah, that's that. Um,
So,
what? Yeah, the
sorry.
one. Yeah, and then sorry. Yeah, then then that's the majority of the time for the end of the year, and then we're then looking at wrapping up with perhaps one last goodie, depending on what the data shows will attract the most users and the feedback that we get, and then we should have time to our team should have time for like one last goodie that improves that the users most want, and will make the biggest improvement to the users. Yeah, then that's everything.
One of the improvements before the end of the year, message signing. So that's
Uh, yeah,
approach.
that's oh yeah, sorry, from before. Yeah, message signing. That's actually already done. It's just a bit of a squeeze to include in with this release, because it's done from my point of view. But yeah, then with testing, that'll inevitably lead to then multiple rounds of QA reviews, and then improvements and polishing. So yeah, forgot about that one. Testing, yeah. Yeah, then message signing, and then also Sire. Message signing and Sire, those are both done, but not yet QA approved for this release, but they will be the next release. Yeah, that's yeah,
Yo,
that's everything that I have in my notes here. Um, I'll see if anything else pops in my head, and I'll let you know. Anything else that you can think of that we've discussed, Polly?
I just want to touch on a little bit about the Wallet Connect. So Wallet Connects allow users to use their Wallet Connect app to connect in to our wallet. This enables two main features. One, that I know we've been working on kind of in the background. I believe the wallet function is, more or less done, but we're slating it for the end of the year, so make sure it goes through testing and everything. But that's Solana integration. And another is to use the Wallet Connect for signing of the different steps in a comic swap. So this will allow people to use these third-party apps uh, directly with the DEX itself. So that in the long run, this will increase our user base because it's one of the hangups of having an app that is itself a wallet is that people don't like trying new things necessarily, right? So um, to be able to allow people to be able to use their current wallet that they feel comfortable with, in with the DEX is a big step forward. Um, yeah, I just wanted to just mention to the users why that's important. Um, so in terms of other updates right now, Omar is still working on the maker issues that were reported by Mobius and Honglu. Um, yeah, they've been a little bit trickier, more trickier to figure out than we thought. But a lot of progress has been made on this, and it should be included in the next full PDF release. So you will see a lot less, uh, maker connection issues, trade matching issues. So that would be a big upgrade. Um, we still think there might be some out there, but if you guys were encounter any after its release, then definitely let us know, and we'll keep on giving away till it is a fully polished product. Um, in terms of other updates on the marketing side, um, we have been published in a couple different places now. So let me bring it up. Okay, yeah, we were in op-ed in Cointelegraph, and additionally, we have a commentary working with Blockworks as well. So this helps with our SEO, and puts us in a position as a thought leader in the space, while um,
Uh,
should
yeah,
help. But can you hear
Polly,
me? Or
I DM'd you. There's also that one other one that's I'm not sure if it's still under embargo, but I DM'd you with the name.
well,
Um, yeah,
whoops.
I
But
just DM'd you now, but yeah, it's a pretty big one that they've been put on. I'm not sure if it's still under embargo or whatever.
oh yeah,
But
I think that might be private still. So
okay,
yeah, yeah, we'll
yeah,
announce that later once it's 100%
okay,
confirmed.
yeah, no, yeah.
Additionally, tonight, Lutz and I are going to be on a podcast. Lutz, do you want to talk a little bit about that? We'll be talking about the Dex and privacy, but I'll let you introduce it and any other marketing updates on your side.
Yeah, so we're ramping up, getting more interviews, guys. Even if they're small podcasters, I'll take it. Well, even those little podcasters have a lot of followers, and everybody matters in this game, right? So even if they got 5 followers, they'll still do the interview. Right? So if you guys got people out there that want more interviews, more podcasters that want more interviews, hit me up. You could have me and Polly on at the same time, get Pirate and Komodo on at the same time, and we'll be happy to educate you on our beliefs and why we go the direction we do. Uh, we are also, bringing more people into Komodo. Komodo is a very neutral ground, so we can house everybody. We could have Zcash, we could have everybody in here. All part of the Komodo exchange. Where people could trade, atomic swaps, and you could preserve your privacy. And so we're doing other things. There's a lot of things in the works. I'm not going to mention them, like I said, until they happen. Uh, but most the most what we're trying to do right now is just try to get as many people inside this Discord as possible. And I think after today, I think that bot is working against me. But yeah, that's the goal, guys. We got to try to fill this place up with more cypherpunk minded people, and uh, and then that's it. But once that happens, you'll see everything will roll on its own. When I did this in Pirate, uh, and I did this twice in Pirate because somebody accidentally hit the purge button and kicked like 3,000 people out. Uh, I had to rebuild Pirate again from scratch, and this is how I did it with these shows. And then once you get enough people in here, we'll have 50 people in here at some point in every show, and it'll be a lot more fun. Crypto is a lot more fun when we're all talking to each other, right? We're not all against each other. Oh, your coin is crap. That's what they want. That's what the government wants from us. They want us to fight with each other, right? But that's not what
Especially the
this is.
privacy cryptos.
Word, word. Yeah, we might have little differentiations on how we do privacy, but it's their dream for us to fight with each other because without these little privacy projects, we got nothing left, right? And that's what they want. They don't want us to survive. That's why they started kicking privacy coins off exchanges months ago, right? Years ago they started, and now they're kicking off coins with exchanges. And that's why I'm in Komodo today, because I'm tired of the rug pulls and the extortion going on with exchanges, right? So it's time to give Komodo some rocket fuel, right? And we put because it. What else? Who else would you market a private decentralized exchange to? But people who love privacy, right? That's who want. That's who want this type of technology. People who love privacy. Those other people don't give a damn. They don't care how it works, but we do. Right? We're the original cypherpunk. We understand why crypto was created. It was created to get rid of the banks, not to work with them. It was be your own bank, the slogan, not work with the banks. And not your keys, not your coins. But people seem to be forgetting that one as well.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The one of the biggest advantages of our decks is a truly non-custodial nature. Many dexes out there are masquerading as non-custodial, but if you take a look at the man behind the curtain, you can see that even with these schemes like multi-sigs or threshold signature schemes that still allow a third party to be able to take your funds if they collude together. And that is just a recipe for disaster in the long run. Um, both in a practical sense that they could literally just steal your funds, but also in a legal sense for people operating those types of systems. I liked what you said that Komodo is a neutral ground, and that's why we have been inviting projects that are external to our ecosystem to help educate our community about the different things going on in crypto. And on that point, introduce Wintermute. Wintermute is a member of the Epic Cash community and our guest today to tell us about Epic Cash, its use of Wimble, and the different things going on in that ecosystem. So, Wintermute, if you would like to introduce yourself and tell us about Epic Cash and all that's going on, turn the mic over to you.
All right. Hey, gents, ladies and gentlemen. Don't want to be all sexist right from the beginning. So I don't know how many of you know about Epic Cash. I'm sure many of you heard at least of us that we exist. We are a Mimblewimble layer one blockchain, privacy oriented, as most things in Mimblewimble. No address, no balance stored online. So the privacy is pretty damn good. We forked from Grin in 2019, and there was some controversy about it. I don't know if the original devs gave enough credit to the Grin team or not, but I think we made it up over the years, contributed a lot to the code base. We picked Bitcoin's rather than Grin's infinite emission. We picked Bitcoin's 21 million cap with a kind of an accelerated curve to catch up to Bitcoin by 2028. In retrospect, that probably wasn't the best idea because mining was a little too front loaded, but it is what it is. The other thing that we did differently than Grin, which was at the time GPU and ASIC mineable, we went with a polyphasic proof of work concept, which is basically we went with multi-algo. So we have a shifting algorithm. We use ProgPoW, RandomX, and 4%. It's kind of a legacy ASIC, but it also could be done with video card, with GPU or CPU. So, and the rewards are actually heavily skewed towards, RandomX and ProgPoW. They're 48-48, and only 4% goes to the Cuckoo algo. The idea there is it makes you a little more, actually considerably more resistant to 51% attacks because people have to dominate across multiple algos. And another reason why we did that is because we're targeting, from the beginning, we've been targeting mainstream. We've been targeting people with computers, essentially. We're not targeting people with ASICs. We're not targeting, dedicated miners. We're actually, right from the very beginning, we're targeting the mainstream. Everybody has a PC. Everybody has, gaming PC, a business PC, whatever. And our system is able to take advantage both of the CPU and the GPU of the system. We've been pretty successful with it. We got a fair number of gamers in our community, people who are, nerdy enough to originally to run things in CLI. Then we added some GUI, GUI elements. We added a mobile wallet, which was absent from the Grin. We actually took their wallet and we finished it, something that they kind of dead-ended, and we picked it up and then we kind of, went with it and completed it. And the other thing that more recently, we did a one-click miner. It's something that we've been talking about for a while because not everybody understands the intricacies of setting up and fine-tuning their rig for crypto mining. So we created an app called, and it's actually under moneyprinter.app. You can check it out. And people don't have to be super computer savvy to be able to actually get running on this and start mining. Whenever basically the slogan is whenever you're not gaming or using your PC, it could be earning you crypto. The idea is really, I got into crypto a couple of years after Bitcoin launched, and I was doing SETI stuff before, Search for Intelligent Life. Distributed computing, and then when somebody said like, oh, there's this Bitcoin thing, you can actually earn stuff, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. So jumped into that, and it was kind of nerdy from the beginning. It wasn't super hard to get mining with Bitcoin, but it still required some know-how. But what I liked about it right from the beginning was that I'm a gamer. I've been a gamer all my life, and my gaming rig was actually able back then. This is before ASICs and FPGAs to actually mine Bitcoin relatively well. And that idea, that ethos, kind of took that with Epic Cash, and we launched in 2019. And we've been, of course, you can have a massive GPU farm, CPU farm, and we actually have some people that are mining it. But at the base level, there are billions and billions of gamers. There are like 3 billion gaming PCs out there. So our desire to get into the mainstream was through the gaming community. And the Money Printer app actually kind of is the latest iteration in being able to do that. So that's kind of where we are. In terms of why Mimblewimble, we just like it because it's an ultralight blockchain. It has pretty darn good privacy, and an interesting point from a not really a legal standpoint, but if you have to stand in front of a judge, the fact that your privacy comes as a result of blockchain optimization, as essentially as a compression, rather than through obfuscation. It's an interesting thing in two ways. One, you're sort of an optimizer, and two, as a result of compression, and because you don't have to store so much data, your blockchain is considerably lighter. So if Bitcoin is bloating into like hundreds of gigs, Epic is running under 5 gig blockchain after 5 years running. So that's been also part of the consideration. As far as where we're going forward, we just keep trying to improve the user experience, and we are looking for more and more use cases for people. Some of our community members, we have a kind of a decentralized community, different people, like the Money Printer app, for example, is an example of just some community members, starting a project and within Epic, and it's sort of independent of Epic, but it uses Epic as a resource. There's a bunch of guys from Eastern Europe, from Russia, Ukraine, those regions, who are concerned that it's super hard to get internet access, so everybody has to use VPN services. So they launched a VPN project that actually gives you a discount if you're paying with crypto, with Epic, with Monero, with some of the other cryptos. So again, I think we all by now realized, I'm sure all of you guys have been in this for many years, is that as cool as the technology is, and we all kind of nerd out on this, and we think it's really it's really awesome. To really get mainstream penetration, you really need to explain to the average Joe like what their benefits are, and to us, gamers and people who are privacy conscious and people who beginning to understand that that fiat is failing and has been failing, and how people say like, oh, my stocks are going up, my house is going up in value. It's like, no, it's not that. It's the buying power of the fiat that's deteriorating rapidly. And that's kind of getting people more and more, I think, crypto aware as a necessity. And then the fact that a lot of the crypto has been um, I think like Bitcoin had this totally noble concept. I mean, to kind of empower people against the banks and everything. And you look at the irony now with like the ETF and BlackRock controlling large swaths of Bitcoin. You look at Ethereum where J.P. Morgan has heavily while Jamie Dimon has been disparaging crypto on television, on the back end he's been investing in it, learning it, investing in the infrastructure. It's darkly ironic that the banks and the Wall Street have realized that the blockchain is inevitable, and instead of fighting it, they started to encroach on it. They started to subsume it into their. I'm not even touching CBDCs. I'm just talking about like traditional layer one cryptos, and this is where privacy crypto. I like to say that crypto is the new macro, as in like the new macroeconomic factor, but privacy crypto is the new alpha. It is what's up in crypto. It is what's really truly hot in crypto, because people realize now that now that I have this value, how do I keep it private? What are the pitfalls of of lack of privacy? You're looking at countries, and without naming any particular names, but you're looking at countries that are struggling with their budgets, they're struggling with their deficits, and they're looking for pockets that they can reach into under various excuses to pilfer what people have been earning. And I'm of a very libertarian mindset, and I believe that we should have the right to what we earned. And privacy crypto allows us to do this. I think this is a big unifying factor and a big value that I don't have to explain to anybody here. Is this is about as straightforward as it gets. So I do see value in trying to unify us like-minded people in this. And yeah, we do have our own purchase, and we do have obviously preferentials for our own crypto. But as a whole, for us, I believe that the effect of us getting the mainstream to notice us is more incremental than cannibalizing. I think if we go into the mainstream, we will grow much, much bigger. Regardless of our pieces of the pie, our overall value would go up, and that would enable us to, search for more use cases, to create better technology. One of the things we have explored successfully, and we're looking at moving to this, eventually, is, for example, quantum resistant mining algorithms, We have tested it successfully. We're worked with some really bright mathematicians, and we have on testnet we've implemented Crystal's dilithium algorithm, and which basically uses CPU mining, so it's super hostile towards towards quantum oriented proof of work. And that's just the kind of thing that we're looking at. How do we future-proof ourselves, especially as we get more value, as any project gets more value, it becomes, as we've seen with Monero, recently, they became a target for hostile activities from outside chains trying to subsume their ecosystem and their value. So anyway, that's about what I have. Any thoughts, comments, questions?
Yes. Well, yeah. I'll work backwards from your points that you made. So you mentioned that Monero's recent hostile attacks by Cubic to do selfish mining and such. Has a little bit of a damper on the privacy space, but you mentioned also that Epic Cache is using like these CPU algorithms. Have you guys thought about how to mitigate that type of attack if it should ever come towards Epic Cache?
Well, with polyphasic, it's harder. They would need to dominate across all three algos.
Okay, yes. Okay. So yeah, so it wouldn't just be the random X, but yeah,
Right.
they would all have to, I guess, have a enough GPUs as well for the prog pow
Right,
stuff
right, right.
and ASIC.
And we can also skew the allocation. We can actually skew the share allocation. We can add a fourth algo, a fifth algo, sixth algo, et cetera. So by design, our system allows us to do that.
Awesome.
But
Yeah.
but
So
but to your point, here's another way, and not that I'm kicking this can down the road, but one of the things is, you look at the market cap of Monero, and when you have this kind of a market cap, your overall value to be able to address a threat, we're like on a good day lately, we're like a 5 million, we're kind of like in the 3 and change to like 5 and change million market cap crypto. I don't see anybody really seriously going after us. At our all-time high, I think we're at about 90 million market cap. If we get big enough, or when we get big enough, we have evaluated alternatives to be able to make ourselves a lot harder to break. And I think, guys that are going after Monero, for example, they're talking about like going after Doge or, something else next. I think for them, it's like it's a PR and a proof of concept validation thing. So I don't think, I think, was it like you don't have to be the fastest guy running away from something, you just have to be faster than the slowest guy. So I think with our combination of factors, I don't really think we're in danger of that.
yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, primarily they're the mining that the Cubic guys are doing is really just going to finance the markets on for their coin
Mm-hmm.
X and other exchanges. So yeah, it doesn't really make sense for them to just go after smaller chains for
And
their.
also, how much of that was a PR move too? It's like how much publicity they got out of that. I think that's also, some people argue like, well, how sustainable is such an attack? How really truly dangerous is it? Et cetera. So, and I'm not saying that it's not a dangerous thing, but like I said, between being able to change algos, move them around, and introduce new algos, we're definitely ready for such an attack. I just don't see that coming in the very nearest future.
Okay, yeah, good point there. So another question. I'm aware that Grin was able to do atomic swaps a while back. Did Epicache ever work on that?
Grin, to my knowledge, Grin never actually implemented atomic swaps. And we're pursuing that, and it's a very non-trivial undertaking. And the issue is with Mimblewimble is that, well, much smarter guys than I am, math guys, are definitely looking at it. So this is something that's very high on our priority list to be able to do this. Um, we've done a lot of research into, for example, non-interactive transactions, and we run into some issues because of the way cut-through operates. That sort of the easiest solution would essentially create this bastard cousin of Mimblewimble that's really going to introduce some new potential vulnerabilities, bloat the blockchain, and not necessarily, you basically stop being Mimblewimble. Like if you Frankenstein enough things onto it, you kind of lose the you kind of lose the elegance and the simplicity and sort of the anti-fragility of the original algo. So we're definitely researching this. We have, like I said, many math folks that are infinitely smarter than I am in that regard. So we haven't given up.
Awesome, yeah, because that's our primary focus at Komodo. We definitely love to have you guys once you guys get it figured out. Yeah, we from adding a bunch of different protocols, we understand how difficult it can be. Many different chains use very different mechanisms, whether it be Mimblewimble in your case, or ring signatures in the case of Monero, or
Right.
count systems, in the case of BVM chains, or Solana uses its own unique account type system, and so on. We definitely understand the difficulty, and definitely wish you the best of luck. And as soon as you guys are able to figure it out, let us know, and we can get you integrated with our wallet and our DEX here, so that Bcash will be able to swap against hundreds of different coins and millions of different tokens, which I'm sure as a privacy coin will be very helpful to your
Absolutely. Absolutely.
community.
Freaknik just said that Beam has atomic swaps. That they're Mimblewimble.
Yeah, they have some fundamentally different design choices than we have, and we're definitely, like I said, we're looking at their approach. We're looking at a couple of other approaches also. So it's work in progress. It's not that we said like, well, we can't do it. It's something that we're definitely evaluating from several different angles. Actually, speaking of Beam, I'm, again, I'm a big fan of all privacy cryptos. I started, my first privacy crypto was Monero, actually. So I got into Monero in 2016, and I was in Monero till like 2019. I went through all of Fluffy Pony's antics and and stuff like that. So I have a lot of respect for the Beam team. In fact, well, I'll just leave it at that. But again, we're looking at finding our own path through this rather than in a path that kind of keeps us the way we are to a great extent, rather than simply aping more of other people's tech. But we are definitely looking at Beam's approach also. I hear you. This is where all the cool kids are. I know. I get it. I'm feeling the peer pressure. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. And there's definitely, I mean, Jesus, in a grown up financial world, there's so much need for alternatives to this horrible gatekeeping, unaccountable to the human beings crap like Swift and a lot of these other systems. Um, I mean, if you ever had to send money across the world, between countries in any kind of meaningful amount, um, it is an absolute pain and it's an absolute disaster. And there's just way too many gatekeepers, way too many people who can question you, who can take a chunk of what you're sending, who can essentially, with complete impunity, confiscate what you're trying to send, and so on and so on and so on. So the need for what we're trying to accomplish cannot be overstated. I mean, it's definitely needed in the world, because the current systems are garbage, and the ones that are not garbage are super intrusive. And I'm talking about at scale. I'm talking about moving, not millions but billions of dollars, or euros, or yuans, or whatever, of value. So yeah, there's definitely a need for a massive system for moving value at scale, away from the prying eyes.
Just to tap onto that point, there is currently I'm in a country that does have that financial surveillance going on in a very intrusive manner.
Hmm.
I'm in Brazil right now, and they've used their financial system to silence political opponents. They require your tax ID number essentially for I don't want to say every service, but pretty much all the main ones. Even like at the grocery store, you put it in, and then they forward everything that you purchase there, all the food that you eat, to the government and stuff, so they know every single little thing that you buy. Same with like at pharmacies. Same if you had to go to the doctor, and so on. They can see what charges that they're doing, and it's very cumbersome way of trying to control the people. And a lot of people forget, being a decade plus, or a decade and a half now, or a little over a decade and a half now, into crypto from the initial founding of with Bitcoin. That the one of the main features of crypto is the ability to transfer value, and whether that's in the form of privacy coin, or in Bitcoin, or a stable coin, it helps all of us to utilize these systems and to encourage adoption, because most of the world still doesn't know anything about crypto. We see numbers coming from media sources like, oh, like millions or hundreds of millions of people are crypto owners and stuff. But you know a couple things about that. Like, one, the majority of those people, if they truly do own crypto, they're holding on a centralized exchange.
Hmm.
They're essentially holders. They don't actually use it for as money, and that needs to be um, really a lot of education needs to be done for a lot of new to for a lot of people, to really show them the true power of this. It's not just a proxy for a stock, and number go up, and and all that jazz.
Right.
Um, it's truly a very powerful form of money that can help everyone in the world. And personal experience here in Brazil, like, you can't take more than $2,000 across, in cash, flying down from the U.S. And I know it's a similar situation for a lot of countries, that they limit you on what you can take. So having a way of doing that, is very helpful. Because $2,000, doesn't matter where in the world you are, isn't really going to get you too far, right? Especially if you're staying somewhere a long time. And a lot of the Western systems, cards and providers and stuff, their networks aren't
Okay,
compatible with these symptoms.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why do you
So,
live there, Paulie?
sorry, you repeat that?
Why do you live in Brazil if it's like that?
There's a
Oh,
lot of places in the world that are like that, man. It's not just Brazil. A lot of parts of Europe are like that, but
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah. A lot of places in the world are like this. And why? My fiance and my daughter are here, so that's
Oh, yeah, that's your home. That's your home.
Yeah. So
This guy Wintermute, he sounds like a genuine individual and with a solid uh, project. Uh,
Thank
what do
you.
they plan on doing? What do they plan on doing to protect themselves in the future? What can they do, Polly, to protect themselves because they are CPU minded, correct?
We're multi-algo, so we're a poly-algo mineable. So CPU is just a fraction of it. So for somebody to try and do a takeover attack, they actually would need to dominate across all three algos. So it's a CPU, GPU, and kind of an ASIC hybrid algos. So
It's a hybrid. Yeah,
yeah,
hybrid.
yep,
All right.
Didn't
not a
Ver-
chronic, but a hybrid.
didn't Verge do something like that? Was
There are a couple of algos. Yeah, there are a couple. There are a couple of cryptos, layer one cryptos that are playing around with multi-algo approach. I think there's like three or four on the market. So and there's definitely a lot of merit to that. Again, the reason why we went with the CPU GPU approach is because literally over 3 billion gaming PCs out there. Okay, there's already all this infrastructure. People don't have to buy a new system, to be able to start getting into our crypto. Basically, whenever you're not gaming, it's passively accumulating, value for you.
it's an easy entrance to it. I always said that
Yep.
crypto needs like a one button mine for for normal people. They'll never set up SG miner and CG miner. They'll never get it. That's just for us nerds. Uh,
Well, and look, in the beginning, like BT miner, like when Bitcoin, when I got into it, we were using, so I was using my same gaming PC, and then I built another PC with like 7 video cards in it, but out of the gate, it's like you didn't have to get some weird box from China, that was sucking up more juice than your a woman's, hair dryer. And it was relatively easy to set up. The only thing that we found out in practice was that uh, it was not private. Like I remember early shocks, when we were like on BitcoinTalk.org, we were like tipping each other for a joke with Bitcoin. And what's funny is like you get a tip from somebody, and then you look them up, and you can see like how much Bitcoin they got, and you can see how they're getting that Bitcoin, and you're like, oh, holy, like I found a guy in Alaska that was mining at the time like 3% of Bitcoin supply in 2012.
lucky bastard.
It's like you have no freaking privacy, man. It's like you're financially married forever. You know everything about what they've done before your transaction occurred, and then after that, you can keep tabs on this person. And you look at all these. I went to this RSA convention in San Francisco right before COVID, and I was talking to a bunch of like spooky three-letter organization nerds over there, and they love crypto because it's traceable. I talked to the guys at Chainalysis, and they weren't concerned about Monero because they were de-anonymizing Monero not through the blockchain, but through the KYC exchanges.
Wow.
And now you look at like Arkham and some of these other projects where they're actually encouraging and bountying people, for de-anonymizing, people's meta, and like Zcash, to me, I'm glad, like, look, for all the Zcash holders, I'm super happy that that their coin went up like crazy. But the pitch that it is truly private is kind of bullshit because
Word.
again, there's so much surrounding meta that it is trivial for corporations to de-anonymize individual transactions, and I think that's really what it comes down to. Is like you're private-ish, but there's no such thing. You're either private or you're not private. So again, it's
But
um,
how do you like Pirate Chain?
I'm in. I'll drop some meta on you guys. I'm in Florida, okay, and I've seen you guys on the. I've seen the name on the sidewalks and everything, and I like I like your guys' crew. Like at the early time, like before your first ATH. I was at the I think it was in Brickell somewhere, like at a hotel convention. When you guys hit your first ATH. Uh, and I think it's a neat project. As kind of a competitor, we bagged on you guys, and some of you guys bagged on us, years ago. And I think that's all fine and good, friendly competition kind of thing. But what I like is the idea that things that were originally like cool amongst us nerds have gotten into the mainstream. So like I respect, Pirate Chain, I respect any privacy project, okay, that has gotten a piece of the mainstream. I think that's fucking exciting. That's crazy cool. That we're like between ourselves, like we can talk about our technical stuff. We can do our EPIN measurements on like the levels of privacy and the size of the blockchain and all this other stuff. But from as a marketing guy looking at it from the outside, I like just the pure merit of it. Like, what have you guys have accomplished? And every project here has accomplished a lot. And to me, that's exciting. So while we do cannibalize each other a little bit, from a market share perspective, us talking about it and us uniting and us creating this interoperability between our blockchains is really the key that we need to unlock the mainstream, because once we unlock the mainstream, there's more than enough there for everybody. So that's kind of my long-winded answer about what I think about Pirate Chain.
Ah man, you like it better back in the day when that guy Lutz was out there doing his thing.
No, 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 no. I'm not partial to anybody. I just think it's funny, like to me, part of the mainstream is, look, I'm like in Miami, in downtown Miami or like in midtown Miami, okay? And I'm like, I get out of a bar, okay? And on the ground, in the concrete, I see a fucking crypto project logo, okay? That is
Yeah,
cool as fuck.
yeah,
Okay,
yep.
that is just fucking cool,
I
okay?
know who
That's
did
like
that. I know who did that, bro. I know who did that.
So that's what I'm talking about. That's like mainstream, like normal people, walking by and they're seeing that, okay, or people like seeing the QR code, and a crypto project tag on a wall, and they scan into it and they plug into our network, and to me that is infinitely exciting.
Yep. Boots on the ground marketing, bro. It's called boots on the ground
Yeah,
marketing.
that's right. That's right.
Right, guys. We're at the end of the hour here, and
Right
I'd
on.
like to thank everybody for coming, and thank you, Wintermute, for giving us a little bit background on EpicCat and what's going on there.
My pleasure.
Because
And
every
thank you for the friendly welcome.
Oh wait,
yeah,
I gotta say something else before you go, bro. Go to all your developers. There's a developer channel here in Komodo Exchange. Like it would be good to have your devs in here with our devs so that if you got questions on implementations of your, like maybe they could help out.
Yeah, yeah. I'll plug our guys into this. This is very cool. I like this
Oh,
forum and I like the cast of characters assembled. So definitely.
thank you, brother.
Yeah, we can find out. We can find out what's it. Maybe whoever has a problem with the swaps to prevent you from getting on the exchange faster.
Right. Right. Appreciate it.
alrighty, everybody.
Fine.
Have a good weekend, and keep an eye out here. We'll be having the new release out here, as soon as we can, which will have the Pirate Atomic Swaps enabled in the web app and well across all platforms again. So,
Very cool.
but web app the first time because there's WebSockets. But, yeah, have a good weekend, everyone, and we'll see you next week.